Okay. 2022, man. The Moon Garden.
Wow.
Uh, a comatose 5-year-old girl journeys through an industrial wonderland to find her way back to consciousness. Written and directed by Ryan Stevens Harris. Also had a hand in editing this film. He evidently started his career as an editor, but he was basically like, "This is my thing. This is this is my idea. This is
My
how I want it to be done." But yeah, there's not a parent's guide on this. So would you let your kids watch this movie? It's PG-13.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's fairly.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some good horror elements in this thing.
oh for
Uh,
sure.
uh, but it's not crazy, you know. The movie starts off sad immediately, which previously I've mentioned that I don't like.
Frank don't like that.
No, I don't. This is my thing. I realized during watching this that what I need you to do if you're going to make a movie sad is just fucking make the whole thing sad, like from front to end. Just make the thing sad, because if I'm escaping the sadness of real life, I don't want it dropped in on me like a fucking uh emotion bomb or whatever. I don't want to be manipulated at the end of a movie to cry like Marley and Me. This fucking thing had me sad from the beginning of the movie, and then was
You told me
highlighting.
it made you cry. Like, man,
Oh yeah, I cried like 3 times during this, but mostly because I
Wow.
was evaluating my own parenting skills and like whether or not
Right.
I'm a good fucking
Oh,
dad.
yeah,
I'm like
yeah,
sitting
yeah,
there
yeah.
going like, holy shit.
yeah.
Like looking
Sometimes
at
this
things.
made you feel like a shitty parent.
Oh yeah. Well, to be honest, a lot of people make me feel like a shitty parent. So they like just do it too good. They're like fucking really good at it and they're into it and they cut shit out with their kid and do all this dumb shit that I don't do.
We're selfish. We're selfish. We
I'm not
we
though.
like our
I do
shit too.
stuff, but
Right, but
I
we
can't,
like our shit.
I'm not gonna fucking do like the shit that I'm not singing to them every night or whatever, but when they were babies, maybe something like
I
that.
don't
But
think anybody's singing to their kids
but
every night.
this girl was how old do you suppose she was?
7 or 8, probably.
7 or 8.
I feel like 6 would have been old.
Oh, it says she's 5-year-old in the summary, so I guess
Right.
that.
Okay.
But
I don't know. I don't have kids, so I don't know how they grow. I just imagine she was anywhere from 5 to 12.
So fast.
it does a great thing of like balancing out the overwhelming sadness of adult reality, like all the shit that you have to deal with as an adult, and balance out, and then also by showing you the child's perspective of like all they want is a day with their parents to get along and have a day at the beach or whatever. That's their perfect thing. So like it balanced you out with like it was moody as fuck, man. It's like the emo band of movies, man. Like it like made me feel things from Jump Street. Like it made you feel sad, and then it would sprinkle in happiness, which was really nice. Like the little nice things with the song, which was awesome. I love that version of whatever the fuck that song is. What is that song?
I didn't look it up, but I almost did. Like I know.
Yeah,
it's a popular song, but the way she sang was like a ghost kind of thing. I don't know. There was a lot to like about it. It just overall it was entertaining. It's a great depiction of dreams too. Like a lot of dreams I've had make as much sense as the weird shit that happens in this. Like whenever she walks in and the dude has a fucked up mask and he's like in reverse bashing up a organ, and then he like plays a little song and gives her a radio.
Character.
I love
like
the device of her hearing her parents talk to her through that radio, and it fades in and out depending on how fast the chattering man or whatever the fuck that thing is that's chasing her through the whole movie.
I thought it was death. What was that?
That's
kind of what I took from it.
I also
don't
thought,
know.
and then he kind of evolved into just like a sadness, like a nothingness. But that's also
I thought it was fear. The physical depiction of fear, because it required her tears. It fed off of her tears, and then when she faced it at the end and went into it, she
no
came
longer
back out
existed.
of all of her fears and stuff. She fought through the battle. I don't know. There's
I like that better. I like that better.
There's a lot of. They compare this to Mad God, which is fucking crazy, because Mad God was like a cool looking piece of art.
Yeah.
This thing had a structure. It had a great story. It every delusion that this girl had a real life thing that it equated to. It should, like, whenever the cops came, there were police lights, and then that weird Marilyn Manson thing came out of the it moved so much like a Marilyn Manson video.
Yeah.
But then everything had an equal, or this is what this actually is in real life
type deal. Like
Yeah.
it's all in her mind. I got
But,
you.
I just thought
It
the
got
color
good reviews. It says,
the color palette was great.
yeah, it looks really sick
Art
from what I
direction.
Googled.
I was bothered that I enjoyed it so much because you know how I am about sadness. I
Mhm.
I don't want it. It's not entertaining to me.
Right.
But I think that this thing like is such a good piece of work that it went beyond that like threshold that I have, and it was like, oh, this is a totally different thing, dude. Like, this isn't just they're killing a baby or they're fucking dropping a dog here, like it's for a reason, and it seemed like a personal project to this dude that made the movie. Like, the doses of good feelings really fucking balanced out the overwhelming sadness. But like I said, so this is aesthetically beautiful, well written. The acting's top notch, even from that girl. That girl is like, she probably deserves an award. They all probably deserve an award for this movie. It's a 10. This is a 10. That's it. That's all I have to say.
That's a pretty goddamn ringing endorsement there, buddy. Because I know I don't like your emotions manipulated. Me,
I guess
he can't tug on his heartstrings.
if you already like bore sadness into me from the beginning, go ahead. That's what we're doing. If I put on a death metal CD, I know that's what that sounds like.
Okay.
It's not like,
Like,
you're watching,
not at all.
you're not listening to jazz and then here comes the blast beats and death metal screaming. It's tone. Get your tone.
Jazz
right,
into grindcore.
Yeah.
Who's next?
For a while I thought this was called Moonrise Kingdom, and I'm like, what? I want a Wes Anderson fucking movie.
Oh my god.
For odd. But then I figured, then I had to go back through and I found it, and it was Moon Garden. Yeah, that little girl, what a cutie patootie she was. That red hair, so adorable. And it just made her in the
biased.
Hush it. But it
wheeling
was,
down, he's got like a Redheads of America shirt on.
Just
Listen, I'm just
so
saying,
great.
that we have special abilities that you guys don't have, right?
Yeah.
but it's like I connected with her, with the little girl character, and like her peril like was my peril. You know what I'm saying? It was like, holy crap, this is some strong shit. And then the parents doing what they're doing and how it's affecting the kids, and it's like, holy shit, I've been through that, and like kind of went through that, but adjusted myself a little bit here. So it makes you like, I judge the fuck out of my parenting like all the time. I am my own worst critic. This was like, holy shit. Like, wow.
For sure.
Yeah, like that's a unique perspective. Like, those without kids, obviously, you can probably imagine but not know where we're coming from. But
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I get it. I mean, for sure, there was a lot of fucked up stuff. So
it's not looking after an animal. It's looking after another human being that's depending on you. It's nuts. And
I mean, that's what I was saying is I didn't know, like I didn't know that this was going to be all about parenting, but I got it from it. It was completely different than I thought it was going to be, for sure.
So check it out. Right off the bat, when she's like trying to get her out of the house and the car's already packed, I was like, okay, they're trying to. I'm like, I try to like process where it's gonna go, like try to predict where it's gonna go. It's just something I do. And I thought, all right, they're going to escape one of these times and get in a car wreck, and then that's going to be what this is about.
Mhm. That's
I
what I
knew
thought was going to happen too.
thing, okay, but I was like, all right, because that's all that made sense. And then when it wasn't that, I was like, whoa, what's happening here?
Yeah, but which, by the way, the girl falls down the stairs.
Mm-hmm.
Did anyone else now? I had been hit with a lot of sadness in the front of this. I laughed at that, and the reason I laughed at it was so fast. It was like forever and fast. But
it was very ironic that we just watched this movie, and as I'm finishing up my notes on criminally insane. I'm down in the basement, and the staircase is right here. I hear someone fall from the top of the stairs all the way down. After this is recently in my head, so I jump up, I run out there, and my son's out there just rubbing his ass. He slid on his ass the whole way, but I was like, Jesus, man, I thought you just died. Like I thought you were going to be going and having this chatter man chase you the whole time.
That chatter man thing, that was brilliant. That is the one and only element, and some of the maybe background, but the main element I feel like is why they said Mad God in the same breath as this.
Yeah, there was barely any stop motion. When the plants and vegetables would die, that was stop motion. There was some weird animation.
I was expecting a lot more stop motion with that comparison. Like exactly. You're right on the money. But that character was really awesome. It looked great. Everything about this film was just awesome. It was way beyond what I expected. The mom obviously has like depression issues, and the dad doesn't, just works. It's like it's kind of a bummer on her name was Emma, little Emma. Felt real bad.
Can you blame the dad? He'd have to come home to that all the time. Oh, Jesus.
I mean, to make her fucking feel better too, dude. Like, shit.
He wasn't even trying.
In sickness and in
just kidding.
Yeah, he wasn't handling his husbandly responsibilities.
No, was not. Get on that shit. Quit writing your fucking. Oh, you writing a little novel there? Well, you know it makes money.
Yes, give up your passions to make your wife feel better. Good job.
Come up, you schmuck. Just like it's called.
Yeah, you schmuck. I don't know if that's what he said, but that's what I heard.
That's what I heard.
Fucking
but I
schmuck.
You guys ever seen the movie Lost River? Because it sounds a little bit like it, by Ryan Gosling. He directed it. It sounds like a little bit similar, where like it's this almost like dreamlike version of like almost Detroit, where like this whole area is going underwater, almost like in Barbarian, like the ruin that's around the Airbnb in Barbarian. Like it's similar, and Christina Hendricks has to make a living for her kids, so she joins this underground version of the Grand Guignol that's happening in these like catacombs of burnt out houses, but it's this secret club, and Ben Mendelsohn is like the overseer of that, and it's like it goes in between like urban decay and then it's also like this really warped like childhood like fairy tale, and like some stuff is just like it's all real, but it's just you're like it's just such surreal stuff, and it just sounds very similar to that kind of thing, because that film definitely has some heavy like parenting themes of like, wow, this is what the burden that Christine Hendricks goes through in that film sounds similar to like the way Moongarden is.
No, I haven't seen that one. I'm going to check it out though. I wrote it down.
It's really cool. It's like it's Gosling, and it's the only movie he wrote and directed it, and it's really like trippy and surreal, and it's got the one guy from who became Doctor Who. The guy who became Doctor Who and is in Last Night in Soho. He plays this like
Matt Smith.
Yeah, he plays this like neo-Nazi punk that rides. He has like this souped up Mad Max type car with like a megaphone on it, and he rides to like the desolate parts with like music playing, and it's insane. Yeah, but I just saw it again, and it's a really good movie that nobody knows a lot about.
That's
I'll have
cool.
to check it out. Yeah.
Yeah, this was a real very well made indie. That that little girl deserves an award. Like
Wow.
he was authentic as hell. Like
Wow.
she was extra believable. Probably, her age helped. No one likes to see a little kid in literal danger, you know. But it was just so sad. It was just her little coma world.
Wow.
The real memory seeping in and helping her succeed and get out of there and everything. This was definitely not what I was expecting to watch for the show.
Yeah.
It is definitely a 10 out of 10.
Wow.
Nice. So when I first heard about this movie, it was from another guy I watched. He was reviewing it. And I just kind of skipped forward, to the last part of what his thoughts were. And he said, and did you say 2022? Because I thought this was like this year.
It might have been this year, but I believe.
Okay, maybe that's what it is. Because he's what caught my attention was he said he's probably not going to find a better movie to come out this year. I was like, well, shit, let's,
Yeah. It was probably on like film festival circuits. And
I don't usually pick movies that we have to rent, but I was going to rent this movie anyway, so I figured let's review this anyway. So, fantasy horror drama, I guess is what we'd call this. Opens up very, very serious, very heavy, and it really doesn't let up. It just kind of sprinkles other things in throughout the movie, but it's pretty heavy the entire time. Very stylish, very surreal, very just cool to look at. Like they did a great job with this, and it's refreshing to see that there's people still writing original horror and original movies, and not everything is just a remake. Like this guy actually, he made something cool, very, very original. The cinematography, the set design, all of it is great. The cast is great. The little girl nailed it. I mean, where did they find her? Like, this has to be like the daughter of someone the director knew or something. Like, you just don't open a casting call and this girl walks in. And it was indie. It's indie too. So like, what? You don't have no budget to be opening casting calls to the country here. So they found a diamond in the rough there. The story is heartfelt. Basically, the whole movie, it takes place in the girl's head. It's just it's just awesome. The monster's cool. I was hoping for a little bit more horror, but you can't. I can't complain about that. This movie is solid all around. Be a great double feature with Pan's Labyrinth. I gave this a 10 as well.
Wow, Jesus.
Nice.
So check it out.
What you got, Ray?
Yes, I'm in agreement with you guys. Like I didn't, because I don't have kids. I didn't have that dread of or existential look into myself about my parenting, obviously. But
hold on, Ray. Before I forget, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Also would be a great double feature with that. Boys in the Trees.
That's a good one.
You remember that, Frank?
That was real sad. That would be a good matchup. I also would suggest Terry Gilliam's Tideland.
I was about to say it sounds like Thailand. It sounds
Tideland's a lot like this.
I haven't seen that.
Wow. Yeah, that was a crazy movie.
Little girl.
Sorry, Ray.
No, you're good. I was just saying, but I because I don't have kids. I'm not absent of feeling. The minute that girl was in a bad household situation, I felt bad for her. Like this smart little kid is playing all by herself because her parents aren't paying any attention to her. You know what I mean? Like that was fucking tragic right off the rip. Like Frank said, it just starts sad. So at first I was like, I don't know. if I'm gonna like this, because I feel so bad for her right off the bat. You know what I mean? Like this, and then she falls and hurts herself. And I was like, man, is this whole thing going to be about her dying? Because I don't want to see that. You know what I mean? Like, I have no desire to watch that story. And I'm glad I did. I'm glad I stuck with it because everything about this movie was amazing. From the way it was shot, like I don't know if you guys, I love the part with the rhinoceros.
Yeah, that was
Like
awesome.
that was the most creative shit I've seen in years in this movie that I never heard of until we had to watch it. So it reminds
was she pulling on its nose hairs?
Yeah, it was like
it's like its nose.
I think it was like brain matter, right?
But if you remember, she had a little stuffed.
Yeah,
she did
rhino. Like that was the 1-to-1 though.
So dude, that I mean, just visually, this thing blew my mind a couple of times. The guy with the piano, like we said already, I love the little trope with the radio. That was so fucking cool. I just loved that whole, she's trying to tune it in. She's running to get to the right spots to where she needs to go next to get through her brain. Man, it's what this reminds me of? David Lynch style shit, like Eraserhead. Like Eraserhead for like Eraserhead Junior. You know what I mean?
And I'm pretty sure that one woman that played like the princess or whatever, like you remember her at the end? I know she was in Starry Eyes. She was one of the panel that hired that actress or whatever. But I think she's been in David Lynch shit. Like
she looked familiar. I didn't look her up, but yeah, she's got a weird a particular look. But that's what this David Lynch is a brilliant at dream sequences, and this whole thing felt like one amazingly well thought out dream sequence. And I thought it was just a little bit too long overall, but that was my only complaint. The whole time I was just like, this is amazing. Like visually, I'd like to get this on physical media too someday. I hope I find it somewhere. But I gave it a 10 as well. So I literally, after it was over, I called up John Paul because when we watched the trailer for it, Jason, I was like, that looks good. And then I was like, when I bought it, I clicked through it and I was like, I don't know if I'm going to like this. This is weird shit. I don't know. It doesn't look very horror, And so John Paul called me when I bought it. I was like, I'm about to watch that movie that Jason picked. And he's like, well, let me know how it is. I'm like, all right. So I called him up right after. I'm like, dude, you got to fucking watch this movie. It's worth your time. So hands down, if you take away movies this year we've reviewed, you want to watch one of the ones we've reviewed, I would say this is the one. So
yeah. It's not a lot that we get.
I think I got to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, man. And Elliot, maybe since you watched this next month's stuff, you watch this month's stuff, and then we can talk about it.
I'm done. See how that works?
Next month we're watching Halloween 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah,
that's the 3. That's our.
I'll watch Moon Garden.
Watch Moon Garden.
Come back and
watch something, Elliot. Come on, get on.
I'm ready for. No, I finally have some time. Yeah, it was kind of crazy.